Tonight, COVID-19 testing numbers more than doubling in the far west. And police seized $25 million worth of methamphetamine at Port Wakefield.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. Health authorities are working to reassure the public the AstraZeneca vaccine is safe after it was linked to rare cases of blood clots overseas. It also comes as testing doubles in the far west after a major drop last week.
Our COVID-free future hanging on the AstraZeneca vaccine, now under increased scrutiny here in Australia after being linked to blood clots in Europe.
I think we need to maintain, a perspective on these issues.
The latest data suggesting the potentially fatal side effect is extremely rare, with just 79 reported cases out of more than 20 million vaccines given in the UK. But some countries are advising those aged below 30 be given a different jab.
At this point, no, there is no advice to us which suggests there'd be any change to the rollout of the vaccine.
While a review is being undertaken, it's still full steam ahead in Australia as more GPs are added to the rollout.
There's always risk versus benefit. However, if there's more benefit than risk, then it's a worthwhile enterprise.
The Far West Local Health District says it's administered half of the immunisations required under Phase 1.
Look, we certainly have heard cases where some people are saying we just want to wait and see.
And is once again asking the public to get tested even with mild symptoms. 179 tests undertaken in the last 7 days, and while that's more than double last week's numbers, authorities still want to see the number increase.
Really, our best protection at the moment is, whilst the vaccine can be rolled out, is continue getting tested.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
An uncontrolled grass fire at Cockaleachie ignited near Pub Corner Road just after 2:30 today. More than 30 resources battled the blaze on the ground and in the air, with the plume of smoke so large it could be seen in Port Lincoln, 60 kilometres away. GFG Alliance says it's close to sealing a refinancing deal, confirming it's received multiple offers from large investment funds. The Energy and Mining Minister visiting the Whyalla Steelworks today, speaking firsthand with workers and senior management on the ground.
GFG tells the public, tells the workers in writing that the company is close to finding new financial arrangements. That's actually what needs to happen.
Also saying the state government is not alarmed and is keeping close contact with the company. A major drug bust is being touted as one of the largest in the state after 50 kilograms of methamphetamine worth more than $25 million was seized from a semi-trailer at Port Wakefield on Tuesday. Detectives say they'll remain ruthless in stopping drug activity.
We'll leave no stone unturned to continue to investigate these types of offences so that our communities are safe from the scourge of methamphetamine.
2 men were arrested and charged with drug trafficking. Investigations are ongoing. 4 dogs have been put down after an alleged attack in Broken Hill. Police were told the animals attacked a small dog in the backyard of a Wyman Street home on Wednesday morning. That dog sadly died from its injuries. A spokesperson said council has received a report from police and rangers are investigating the incident. The owner of the deceased dog has made a submission to council. The 6-month amnesty period for possessing gel blasters has ended today, with the toys officially declared a firearm. Owners must obtain a firearms licence or surrender their guns or risk serious criminal charges.
D-Day for the gel blaster community, but confusion is still mounting over the rules.
Because there is a lot of grey areas still, like a lot of questions around it, I think.
Today ends a 6-month grace period, with gel blasters no longer considered toy guns, rather firearms. Owners told to either obtain a firearm licence or surrender their guns over to police.
Most of them were either just going to destroy them and get rid of them.
The guns were declared firearms by police in October, angering the gel blaster community. Former owners of EP Gel Blasters, Serena and her partner, forced to shut up shop.
Pretty much shut our business down straight away.
The couple purchasing this old football oval before the guns were considered a firearm, with hopes to have set it up as a gel blaster field.
It can be still done, The only problem is it has to be set up as a paintball field, which is more in depth. We're dealing with firearms, so the cost involved is a lot higher.
From today, anyone possessing a gel blaster firearm without a licence will be committing an offence and risk criminal charges.
Just disappointment in the fact that, you know, they were a toy. They did announce that they were a toy, and then a year later they've announced them a firearm.
Just short of 4,000 gel blasters has been handed in to police. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, a $3 million makeover set for Wilpena Pound Resort, and a proposal to build a major supermarket in Broken Hill now off the table. Welcome back. The Wilpena Pound Resort in the Flinders Ranges will soon undergo a multi-million-dollar makeover. It's hoped the investment in upgrades will improve visitor experience and create more local jobs.
It's been labelled as one of the state's most iconic tourism destinations. And now the Wilpena Pound Resort will undergo a major transformation. The Indigenous-owned resort now partnering with NRMA Parks and Resorts, aiming to support the vision of the traditional owners by becoming the leading Indigenous experience in the nation.
One of the key things that we think the resort can do really well is create experiences that allow guests to learn and immerse themselves in the local culture and the very special nature of the pound.
The $3 million investment set to upgrade resort infrastructure. There will also be some significant changes to accommodation and amenities.
But also adding new higher end luxury safari tent accommodation, and also providing new powered private ensuite camping sites.
The Environment Minister says it will help improve visitor experience, boost the state's economy and create local jobs.
People do want to have authentic respect for cultural experiences, and that's exactly what will be an offer.
Some planning and works are already underway, with the upgrades expected to be completed by mid this year. Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Aldi has confirmed it won't proceed with construction of a new store in Broken Hill. Locals say the decision isn't surprising after the proposed development stalled earlier this year. Our reporter Lachlan Itter has the details.
The proposed Aldi was to be built on this vacant lot at the corner of Wills and Galena Streets, but the supermarket chain has confirmed those plans have been scrapped. A spokesperson for the company told 7 Spencer Golf News plans for a store in the area weren't deemed viable, despite having a submitted development application approved by Broken Hill City Council. Aldi deferred its decision to go ahead back in February, at the time blaming complications associated with environment, costs and logistics.
Look, I think most people in Broken Hill suspected that was going to happen.
Councillor Tom Kennedy outspoken in his claims the chosen site was not the best option and the store should have been built in the south.
Their plan didn't work out. I don't know if that was the cost of building was too high. I suspect that may have been some of the problem.
This announcement welcome news for small businesses, with concerns the store could have shifted workers from their current positions.
Say if Aldi comes and says they're going to create 100 jobs, they're not creating 100 additional jobs. You're not going to bring 100 more people out of unemployment or to the city.
Despite the news, Aldi says it will continue to look at the possibility of future developments.
Our local wineries can now further grow their businesses by entering a new Wine Australia-led program. The initiative aiming to educate wine growers about the United States market. Our reporter Sophia Contagonis has the story.
It's a win for wineries, with the state government supporting Wine Australia's new US market entry program.
The Marshall government is subsidising 50% of the cost of Wine Australia's US market entry program, which will help South Australian wineries grow their business.
Last year, South Australian producers exported just under $50 million worth of labelled bottled wine to the US market, now identified as a priority country for the local sector. Under this program, the state government is offering funds to 15 wineries, with a wine export grant also on offer. The support set to help the industry following some challenging times, including bushfires, COVID-19 and market access difficulties.
South Australian wineries produce premium wine that is enjoyed not only here in South Australia, but across the world. And the US is a key market that the Marshall government is targeting.
Also saying the government support will help educate South Australian wineries about the US market, as well as introduce them to key importers and distributors.
I encourage South Australian wineries to find out more and register for the US market entry program.
The program will run from July this year to June 2022, with more information listed on Wine Australia's website.
Stay with us after the break. The Adelaide Symphony Orchestra warms up, ready to dazzle locals, and a special paint and Prosecco night set to be held in Whyalla. Hello again. The sweet sounds of the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra will soon ring out across Port Lincoln. Musicians will be performing at next week's Salt Festival, the first time the full orchestra has played in Port Lincoln in over a century.
Not even Puccini himself could have picked a more picture-perfect place to perform his piece. As opera rings out over Eyre Peninsula's rugged coastline, soprano Desiree Fran warming up her vocal cords ahead of next week's big event.
So fulfilling to be able to get back up there.
Alongside 50 other musicians from the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra, Desiree will take centre stage in Port Lincoln as part of Salt Festival.
It's so lovely to come back with my career now in full bloom and to bring what I really love to another regional town.
Charismatic maestro Guy Noble will be at the helm, navigating audiences through a symphony by the sea.
I'm just incredibly excited to be here in Port Lincoln and to come back with the orchestra.
It'll be music to the ears for Port Lincoln locals, and the first time the full orchestra has played on the Eyre Peninsula since 1954.
The nerves never go away, you just kind of get a little bit better at dealing with them.
The performance will kick off the orchestra's regional tour, visiting schools hoping to inspire the next generation.
So there'll be some gags, there'll be some fun, and I hope everyone goes out of the concert with a smile on their face.
Tickets are on sale on the Salt Festival website. Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Whyalla's art group has been busy preparing a variety of activities for the year, with the most recent including a paint and Prosecco night, the event encouraging locals to try something new while supporting the centre.
A paintbrush in one hand and a glass of Prosecco in the other. It's this art centre's creative way of encouraging more locals to come through the doors.
Our Paints and Prosecco night is coming up on Friday the 23rd of April at 6:30, and that is an 18 plus night for obvious reasons.
Attendees will get the chance to create a floral piece of artwork by following a professional instructor throughout the workshop.
Something that you don't have to be an experienced artist to do. We'll take you through a step-by-step process and you'd be able to come out with a piece of art that you can hang up in your home.
And it's not the only event the centre has planned.
We have a life drawing workshop that is coming up soon.
And for those more talented individuals, there's even an upcoming exhibition.
So the autumn exhibition that is happening on Friday the 7th of May at 5:30 p.m. We are also going to have on display for you the Portraiture in Oils program results, so come along and have a look at that as well.
Event organisers encourage locals to register for the events before they sell out.
Pop over to our Facebook page and like us, because then you'll actually see what's happening.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Diabetes South Australia stopped off in Port Augusta today for its community screening and awareness event. With 8 more events planned for the region, professionals are encouraging locals to take advantage of their services for their own health.
It's time to act now. Diabetes SA travelling around the region, today stopping off in Port Augusta, providing a free screening test for those at risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
We'll be asking people to come in and have a chat to us to work out if they're at risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the next 5 years, and if they are, then we can do some point of care testing as well and help them work out how quickly they need to see their doctor.
With 1 in 6 adults most at risk, health professionals say awareness and prevention is key. After a successful first event in Clare, Pamela says it's important to provide the service across the region, with many people unable to have the same access to healthcare as metropolitan areas.
Of the people that walked through the door, 56% of those people scored high risk, and from that 56% of people, 10% of people needed to go on to immediately follow up with their GP.
Also supported by Country PHN and Lions Australia, with members excited the event is breaking ground.
They're really keen to see how this goes, and there's every likelihood this will be replicated at a multi-district level across Australia over the coming years.
Their next stop will be at Cleve, followed by Port Lincoln, Wallaroo, Minlaton, Peterborough, Whyalla, Ceduna and Laura, with locals encouraged to check it out. Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Our fishing experts will share their tips for the weekend, and we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. With school holidays starting this weekend, let's see what will be biting out in the Gulf waters. Here are our experts with their tips.
Hi, whalers fishing tips this week. The blue swimmer crabs are starting to move out slowly, so definitely now's the time to get your last feed of those while they're still here. Squid are moving into the area. In the past week, numbers of garfish have been hitting the cleaning table, most boats achieving their bag limits. So on the calmer weather coming, definitely get amongst those. Also, down towards Point Lowly have been a few salmon trout coming in from the Rocky Point areas.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel North. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed their Easter and got plenty of fish. There was a lot around. There's a lot of kingfish around at the moment, up around the train bridge, Chinaman's Creek. There's also been sighted in Port Patterson and down on the shacks there as well. The squid have rocked up. Kids are getting a lot of those off the jetties at night. And also, if you get those really calm nights, which we're getting now, go out and try for a feed of garfish, dabbing around the mangroves and that for those. King George whiting have started to rock up as well, so there's been good catches of that. And the crabs are still around too. You just have to wait a little bit longer for those to get in the nets. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
G'day, welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Lincoln. Starting up around Tumby Bay, the inshore stuff's been a little bit quiet at the moment. There's been some pretty good whiting catches out at the group. Inshore around the town, the squid have been a little bit slow. The flathead are starting to show up around the beaches around there, so maybe give that a crack on the afternoon high tides. Moving down towards Port Lincoln, the salmon have been going pretty good down the south coast. Moving over to Coffin Bay, the whiting have been going pretty good at Farm Beach. Bit of a mixed bag out there at the moment with some trevally, tommies, a few flathead as well. That's about it for this week. We'll see you again next week.
Authorities are expecting even more water to flow into the Menindee Lakes. Water New South Wales says the forecast flow into the lake system has increased to between 400 and 600 gigalitres, more than 4 times what was expected a fortnight ago. The increased predictions coming after heavy rainfall across Queensland and New South Wales. And now it's time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex.
Thanks, Ruby. Mainly fine conditions across the Gulf today, with temperatures mainly in the low to mid-30s. From 3 p.m. today, mostly sunny in Port Augusta, 36 degrees, Broken Hill sunny and 31, and Port Pirie got to a high of 34 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Whyalla and Woodner were both mostly sunny and recorded the region's top of 36 degrees. Kadina and Cleve and Cooper Pedy had 34 degrees, mostly sunny in Clare, 30, Port Lincoln was cloudy and 35, and it was partly cloudy and reached a max of 31 degrees in Adelaide. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud crossing southern South Australia with a trough is only bringing a few light showers, mainly southeast. Skies are generally clear elsewhere in the state under weak high pressure and a dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Variable winds 10 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 knots from late afternoon. Seas below 1 metre, increasing to 1.5 during the evening, and south to southwesterly swell around 1 metre in the far south. Cooler temperatures tomorrow, cloudy in Port Lincoln and Cleve, both set to reach a high of 23 degrees there. Woodner partly cloudy 28, partly cloudy in Whyalla 25 degrees, Port Augusta 28 degrees, and it's set to be a top of 25 in Kadina. Port Pirie partly cloudy 28, Clare will be a top of 24 degrees, and mostly sunny in Broken Hill, set to reach a high of 26 degrees there. Taking a look further through the week now, cooling down even further on Saturday with rain forecast in the west, while Port Lincoln and Adelaide set to reach 21 degrees, Broken Hill partly cloudy 19, Cooper Pedy with the region's top of 25, Kadina and Port Augusta 22. Conditions improving on Sunday, but with slightly cooler temperatures. Sunny in the far north, cloudy elsewhere. Cooper Pedy once again to have the region's top of 24 degrees. Port Lincoln set to have the region's low of 18. Woodner and Kadina both set to reach a high of 20 degrees. And heating up on Monday, sunny in Port Augusta, Whyalla, Port Pirie and Broken Hill. Partly cloudy across the rest of the region. Woodner and Cooper Pedy will have the region's top temperatures of 25 degrees. So it looks like we had the peak weather conditions today, with a cool change coming over the weekend, Ruby. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Lovely, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.